Welcome to Real Flix Reviews, or like a book club for people hate reading. This week we're doing the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. And we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens,
hello,
Ryan, oh my god, Preston, and Rob Charney.
Hey, the old guy's here.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
This week we've elected that Rob gets to read what it's about, so read the synopsis.
So this is a new one for me, guys, so cut me some slack if I screw this little one up. I got a short story about it. Did you know I thought it was Bang Bang Kiss Kiss? And try looking that one up. Do you know what that one is? You don't want to know. Yeah, so Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Wow.
An hour and 43 minutes, a murder mystery brings together a private eye, a struggling actress, and a thief masquerading as an actor.
That's the plot and the story right there.
And Robert Downey Jr.'s life.
In a nutshell, yes, it does the whole thing.
So, who wants to go first?
I want to hear the old guy's opinion on this one first.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll be glad to, because believe it or not, I kind of enjoyed the movie. I like it. Yeah,
I'm actually not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all.
No,
neither am I, really.
I enjoyed the movie. I like the narration style. Of the movie, the way
great.
It was actually perfect. Robert Downey Jr. was really neat with the descriptions of what was going on, who was doing what, and I enjoyed it. I really did.
Yes, and his goofy, the very kind of goofy narration style worked very well in it.
Well, but yet that was him at that time. I mean, I think
compare Robert Downey Jr. to a dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I thought he did a great job.
Right.
I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed all the characters. As far as this pure entertainment, I had a great time with it.
Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I picked this one. And not only that, but we are doing Bloody Christmas,
right.
And this is it takes place at Christmas time.
It does.
It does.
It does.
Much more than Vampire D. Bloodlust.
Well, true. Well, I figured
not
since
pointing any fingers.
There is no Christmas in that thing.
But, I totally agree with you, Rob, in the fact of the narration. That's one of the things that I really enjoyed about it. My wife hadn't seen this one before, and his opening narrations, I could look on her face and just kind of tell that she had this, what the hell's going on look,
I think it helped that he broke the third wall, because he was talking to the audience the whole time.
Yes, he
more
was.
than a normal narrator does.
Well, I really enjoyed that one scene where Val Kilmer gets shot, and he's coming back in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And he's like, you hate those sappy movies where they bring back that guy, like you just can't have it, just can't let him die.
Yeah, exactly.
And why don't you bring back everybody? And then you see Elvis and Lincoln walking in.
In this case, it actually happened this way.
Yeah.
So I thought that play of how he had fun with it adds a lot to this movie.
I think that's what made the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, had that not been in there, it wouldn't have been much of a movie.
It adds the very playful part of this movie with Robert Downey Jr. I think this is like the Tony Stark character, but a little bit more animated.
Yeah.
So I think that and add to this very goofy, very breaking the third wall narration really, really made this movie funny.
Yeah. Ryan?
All of the above. I concur. No, obviously the narration is what sells it. It's a little different from your average narration. Obviously, all narration is people telling a story to the audience. But this one, it's like somebody in your living room telling you a story.
Yeah.
If that person was Robert Downey Jr. on coke.
Right.
Well, the funny thing that I thought, I'm looking at Ryan right now.
Okay.
Anyways, the funny thing that I thought was that, the banter between Val Kilmer and Robert Downey, I think, was just great. I think it really played into the character that Val Kilmer was playing, where he was this, former private eye, still kind of private eye, consultant guy just wanting to be a dick.
But definitely very Hollywood.
What was his nickname?
It was a Gay
Perry.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Which really was funny, and my wife is a big Val Kilmer fan, so when they were saying Gay Perry, you just kind of saw like her cringing her nails type thing. Like,
was it bad? I kept thinking of Matthew Perry every time I heard that.
Well, when I first saw this movie back when it was released in 2005, it was such a shock to see Val Kilmer with that much weight on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was.
Does he still weigh that much?
Yeah,
he's lost some.
He's still a heavy guy though.
Wow, yeah, because in the early years he was stick
Top
thin.
Gun.
Yeah, well, Top Gun, Real
Top
Genius,
Gun, right?
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Real
I-
Genius. Yeah, that's
I do
another
have
good
a
one.
question because I have two favorite scenes. I was wondering what your favorite scenes were because mine was the one with the revolver.
Okay.
When he's going, let's try this, and he goes, through the rush, and your leg goes whack.
I had 1 in 6, 1 in 8 chance not to do it. That was a
good.
really good scene.
That was a good scene.
My other, it just totally just whipped.
I have to think too.
Because my other one was the one where that dead chick was, her casket was hanging on that sign, and he's just grabbing her hand, holding
Right.
on to it.
Yeah.
And it lasts a long time for somebody who's been a rotting corpse for quite a while.
Well, she wasn't dead that long, Ryan. You're the expert here.
But no, she wasn't that long.
Yeah, I figured her arm would
Middle of
last.
summer.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Wasn't
she'd
in
only
a
been
pool.
dead for what, maybe 3 days?
Yeah, well,
Anyways,
Yeah, that's fine.
my favorite scene has to be when he goes up to the door and she slams it and cuts his finger off.
Yeah, that's easily my favorite part.
That's a good one. And he's trying around and gets it sewed up like it's a real easy procedure. Just sew it back on.
I love reaction when she opens the door.
Yeah.
Was that your thumb?
and
I don't want to look at it. Could you get it for me?
yeah, and then you had Val Kilmer say, well, retrieve the thumb. Wait, I think the problem just solved itself.
Yeah, the dog swallows it.
That's what I'm doing.
I also have to say, seeing Robert Downey Jr.'s character kind of evolve from, the thief trying to masquerade and then kind of turning back towards being a kind of decent guy was just great. I think that was really well played by him, especially since he was a major alcoholic at the time as an actor.
Right.
Major everything at that time.
Yeah. So he got cleaned up.
Despite it, I mean, that's why Robert Downey Jr. is who he is. I mean, because he's able to pull off, this kind of stuff, and this is who people want to see him act like.
Yeah. I do think though that there's some things in this movie that are plot-wise that are really slow to pay off. Like they show you it, and then you don't hear anything about it till practically the end of the movie.
Well, that's what he says in the beginning, though. You have to pay attention to these little things and he actually says it in like the first 5 minutes of it. When you think that something isn't going to be key to the plot, you have to remember that, and it's going to be way back when that that comes back around. And
well, the whole movie was playing kind of inside baseball with letting you in on the Hollywood tricks and things of the trade. It was sort of this New York guy's perspective of the Hollywood bullshit.
And it was almost, it kind of vaguely reminded me of a Scooby-Doo mystery, except you didn't have somebody ripping off the fake mask or something.
Well, they do explain that this is kind of like the books that she was a really big fan of. That
this is just a private eye story.
A very bad.
And walked into my office and it's all black and white.
And the other question I had was, because I was thinking her little sister was just a plot device, because it didn't really seem to me that her little sister mattered at all.
Well, that's one of the things they bring up towards the end is that when they're in the hospital and they're like, okay, well, your sister really didn't have anything to do with this. She just kind of saw incest being played by the other guy and took her own life because she thought that was really what she was going to end up seeing her real dad do.
Yeah.
The guy wasn't her real dad, I don't think. What? Yeah, he was. Anyway.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so it's just kind of this twist thing that's been going on. But I want to know about that gun being shot underwater.
Which one?
Because Val Kilmer dove into the water,
right,
and swam down it, and he said that he shot the trunk open underwater.
Was it a revolver or automatic?
Doesn't matter.
It's a semi-automatic. I think he said it was a Vector, which I'm not sure.
No, I think that was the gun that Robert Downey
What's
drew
your Vector, Victor?
Oh, yeah, I think you're right, because he said that bullet went through and got the girl in the head.
Because I was thinking with a revolver...
They will fire underwater, guys.
Really?
Once.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's why I was bringing it up, is because, you're a firearm specialist.
If he had said it was a Glock actually makes a particular cup and firing pin for a Glock for the Navy SEALs that actually will cycle and fire underwater.
Yeah, I did hear about that. like one. But anyway,
good luck with that one.
So, Robbie, what do you rate it?
Oh, wow. Well, again, just on pure entertainment value, I'm going to give it a 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I think that's your highest rating yet.
So far, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a bloody entertaining movie.
It is a bloody entertaining movie.
Yeah. All right, I was
No
bored.
pun intended, by the way.
Well, you know, that was one of the things I was thinking when I picked this one is I already knew that this movie was not, like, really, really bloody.
No,
there were a few things of blood, but, you know, as far as blood on the screen, there wasn't a lot.
I still love the fact that Robert Downey Jr. never really did anything wrong besides stealing. In the other movie, he killed like 3 people, and 2 of them by complete accident.
Yeah.
It's like you go from never touching a gun to murderer in like, you know, an hour and a half. It's a pretty quick step.
Well, I mean, when you accidentally just shoot a guy right in the skull when you didn't mean to, I mean, that kind of changes your opinion, I guess.
Yeah. A little PTSD roll sets on pretty quick.
And that sliding, that pistol sliding down, quick grab, and boom, 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 and he kills the bad guy.
That's survival instinct.
Yeah.
That's right. His hardcore years of training defending himself
That
on the
was
streets
slow
of New York.
range, for Christ's sake.
It's all the years of playing cowboys and Indians when you're a little kid.
Come on, if Liam Neeson can do it, so can Robert Downey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not aiming. You're
Yeah.
In the
Center
general
mass.
direction. And I love that guy's comment. Quick hands. Or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was it.
So, what about you, James?
This one's a straight 4.
4?
Yeah, there's no contest on this one. This one's a really good movie and a lot of entertainment value in it.
So, what about you, Ryan?
pretty much the same thing, same reasons. If there's any plot holes, they make it a point to tell you there's plot holes. Which how many movies ever do that?
Yeah.
Good quirky dialogue, correcting grammar. I'm always a fan of that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Well, I did also. I want to mention one more thing. When they kept on pointing people out, like the Joe Pesci character,
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
that was
Watch
great
that kind
too.
of shit all day.
Yeah,
That was probably one.
That's the other thing is and the reason that I'm giving it a 4 basically is I know I've mentioned this before with a couple other movies that we've done, but the movies that if you've seen it a couple of times but you know somebody who hasn't, you're like, oh, let's watch it right now. I'll watch it with you.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies.
Yeah.
I think the greatest part of this movie is it pokes fun at itself right when it's happening. You know, it'll pause and go, really? Come on. Oh, okay. You know, and it just you don't see too many movies that take itself that lightly.
Right.
Of course, it helps that you had Robert Downey Jr.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it is a comedy.
Yeah.
I think it was a really interesting way to sell an old school PI story, though. You know, they dressed it up with this sort of Hollywood overcoating or paint job, and it was at its heart it was just like a cheesy PI novel.
Who's the director? Anybody we know?
I
can't remember.
I actually agree. I think this was one of the better
Shane
ways.
Black.
Shane Black.
Shane Black, yeah.
He did Iron Man 3, The Last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon.
Which, by the way, I think he's responsible for Lethal Weapon 4, which...
Well, Lethal Weapon 2 for sure. I don't think he did Lethal... Yeah, he did...
he did 1 through 4, I thought.
Writing.
Producer, he did The Last Boy Scout. Director, he did Iron Man 3. This one, he's doing Doc Savage and Death Note.
So he's had some pretty big hit and misses, but he's had some really big hits though.
But he's done a lot of writing stuff. I really am a little disturbed that he did Last Action Hero, but moving along.
Yeah, but he did. But he wrote probably one of the roles that Mel Gibson's famous for, and that's Lethal Weapon. I mean, that's without him, I don't know if Mel Gibson would have a career. I agree with you guys though. This movie is definitely a 4 out of 5, just because it's hilarious. The argument itself about what's the percentage rate he would have had after shooting a guy in the head had me in stitches.
Yeah.
I had a 1 out of 8. You had what?
Who taught you how to count?
Yeah.
This whole movie is just funny and random and practical as hell, but funny. And next should be.
Did you give your rating, Johnny?
No, he didn't.
I said 4 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I did. I
It
said
just
4 out
got
of 5.
blended
So we're
in
all
everything else
4s?
you said.
Yep.
This is a family favorite, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
This is a family film, you know. If
Yeah,
you want
yeah. So take your kids and sit down and watch this movie.
You know, after some of the, I've seen little kids, and I've seen like 2 and 3 year olds in Tarantino movies.
Yeah.
So this is
Let's
kind
not
of
even go
cleaner.
there.
No, you know what?
Ooh.
Really though, this is the perfect movie if you got like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, like 12-year-old kid. There's nothing in it that's too bad for him to see,
Language?
but you're going to seem like the coolest parent in the world.
The language is pretty bad, though.
It's not.
And not bad enough to where, it's not something they haven't heard, but it's nothing really overtly, crazily violent or crazily sexual.
Well, Robert Downey Jr. actually apologizes for using the F word so much at the end of the movie.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I do have a question though. What was is there any scene in this movie that had you go, wow? Because there's one. I was one
when
for
he
me.
goes to when he's on the drugs and he goes to that party where all those people are in those little boxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that part really
Yes.
kind of made me one moment go wow with the guys and
I love
a
the
couple
fact-
of the girls in there. You're like, what are you supposed to be?
Yeah, that was a little weird.
The funniest part was he was staring at the gay guys, doing the guys doing their thing, just going, "What?"
Yeah.
And then when
But
they
he
start
walked by
doing
them very quickly. Did
the
you notice
fellatio thing, he just goes,
that? Yeah.
I'm done.
puts his hands up and
Yeah.
walks away.
That
Whoa.
whole scene had me going, "That's interesting." I guess that's Hollywood.
It could be some
Yeah.
other parties.
And since and Ryan just confirmed it, as he is the closest one to Hollywood from all of us. So this is the portion of the show where we do movie news, and it's James's turn.
So my movie news this one is just upcoming in 2014 movies that I think should be kind of looked at or thought about. One of the first
Movies
ones
that you're going to forget we talked about by the time you see them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the ones that I was going to bring up is, have you heard about the one that's coming out in July 2014, Jupiter Ascending, put out by the
I have heard
Wachowski
about
brothers
that.
and sister?
I've heard about it, but I
Seen
know
a
nothing
little
about
trailer
it.
of it.
So what the plot outline is, in a universe where humans are near the bottom of the evolutionary ladder, a young, destitute human woman is targeted for assassination by the Queen of the Universe because her very existence threatens to end the Queen's reign.
It sounds very similar to After Earth, actually.
Or, a little bit kind of Matrix, where the humans are running it low and being used by other races type thing. And
Who's in it?
A little bit of that recent one, Elysium, too,
well, it's
kind
got
of.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum, Mila Kunis. I didn't see anybody else that really jumped out as a known actor or actress.
It
But
may
those
go.
two.
It may go straight to DVD.
Yeah, I kind of like Mila
Elysium
Kunis. A lot of
should
people
have.
are giving her a lot of a hard time for not being much of an actress after that 70s show, but she's kind of turning a career around. I hope she does well in this one, and it turns out that all those naysayers are shut up.
Well, Mila
Yeah, I
Kunis-
think she got pigeonholed a little bit for doing that show for so long.
Yeah,
But she also hasn't had a whole lot of gigs that I remember that really that you got to see her stretch as an actor.
That's very true.
So I also don't think she's had the chance. This being a Wachowski movie, it's either going to suck or be entertaining. But I actually, this was one that sounded interesting because I'm a sucker generally for the movies, so I'll see them in theaters.
okay. The other one I was going to
Except
bring
for the
up.
second and third Matrix, they suck.
The other one I was
Don't
going to
listen,
bring
everybody.
up is it's coming out towards the end of 2014, but this one caught my eye. It's called Fury. Have you heard of this one?
Fury?
Fury, a crew
Is it a
of
remake of
Americans,
something?
a crew of Americans in Nazi Germany toward the end of World War II embark on a brave mission. It's got Brad Pitt in it, playing War Daddy.
War Daddy?
That's the name of the character. It's also got Shia LaBeouf in it, and that does not make me happy.
Oh, this is the movie. I actually read a rumor about this saying how Brad Pitt does not like Shia LaBeouf. Because apparently Shia LaBeouf's a method actor.
It doesn't
Bad
surprise me.
method actor.
Yeah, I was going to say. So this will be interesting to see how these two play this out. The director and writer is David Ayer, and he's done End of Watch, which wasn't too bad.
That sounds so
No,
familiar.
I really like that movie, actually.
I didn't dislike it. I didn't think it was that great. I thought it could have been done better.
Good.
But Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael Pena.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
So, that wasn't too bad. He's also done Fast and Furious as a writer, the original one. He hasn't done too many directing stuff, just End of Watch and, let's see, Sabotage, Street Kings, and Harsh Times. I have only seen End of Watch.
So this is really his, like, 5th time director?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, one more. Let's pull up the next one.
I don't know the name of the movie, but there's a movie with George Clooney that's coming out.
Yes,
where these guys go about during World War II, during Nazi Germany, and they try to save artwork. And
I was looking at a trailer for that. Something.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it.
It got.
The Monuments.
Yes.
The Monument. I can't remember the name of it. Monument something.
I think it got pushed back.
Monuments Men?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it got pushed back into 2014 or a little later into the year. I remember reading something about it, but not enough to actually...
It was on the trailer this weekend when I went to the movies, so it's coming out.
Okay, so another one that that I know Ryan's going to be looking forward to, and it's one of the few movies that John and I went and saw and had nothing to say after the movie was over. It's Frank Miller, Robert Rodriguez as directors. I'm thinking Ryan's going to start perking up pretty soon. It's also got Jessica Alba, Mickey Rourke, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, Sin City 2.
Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. And this one is one that I'm excited for. It's coming out on August 22nd, 2014.
Now, do you know if it's a direct sequel?
I don't know. It doesn't really sound like it is, but because, I mean, Mickey Rourke.
Well, same characters. Yeah.
But Mickey Rourke died in the first one.
Well, but it's still going to probably take place in the universe, I suppose.
Yeah, but anyway, that's one I'm very excited for. I really enjoyed that movie.
I agree.
That one just really went above and beyond for me.
And that was one of the few times in the theaters we really didn't have anything snarky to say.
No, it was just blown away.
Because generally we're making comments like, seriously? Superman just,
destroyed half the town and killed 38,000 people. Right. Anyway, so another one that I wanted to bring up is there's really no release date on this one, but Red Sonja's coming back. And yeah, but the director really makes me interested on this one. The director is Simon West. He's got a couple really cool, interesting things on his resume. Con Air, The Expendables 2, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, and about 20 other things. He's done TV shows, a couple different episodes here and there. The Cape, which was a really bad movie, but he's also got The General's Daughter. Let's see, what other movies does he got? When a Stranger Calls. He's got a bunch of different little things that aren't great movies, but they're not bad ones.
It sounds enough to actually to be interesting. I wonder how he's doing Red Sonja. Is he making it serious or is goofy as the first one was?
That is a good question. I don't know. I really hope that it's a little bit more of the serious side, kind of like what they did with Conan, but better. Because they did the Conan movie a lot more serious than the other ones, but it didn't really make it anywhere.
I'll agree. If they play it more serious, but just be better written than the new Conan movie, I think it'd go well.
How could you write anything that bad? It's like somebody, Masters of the Universe, saying like, "Hey, just don't make the dialogue shitty as this one."
They can't do that.
Pretty sure I can handle that.
I mean, it's like Beastmaster, really. Come on.
Pretty much, man. That's what we're talking
the original,
about.
The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. I mean, how bad can you really go? You can go bad.
I love those movies, but they're horrible. I mean, the fact people made them is pathetic.
So anyway, 2014 seems like it'll be an interesting year for a few movies, but there's a bunch more out there that are really interesting as well. I didn't want to get on those. I want to do some of the lower ones that haven't had too much publicity yet.
And there's a movie coming out on the 25th of this month that looks interesting.
The Hobbit?
No, it's actually 47 Ronin.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, man, I'm a little torn on that. I know James and we've talked about the Ronin story before.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this is it costs $223 or $220-something million to make.
Oh, my God.
And they're already reporting it's going to fail.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really hope that this one is a really good movie. I don't care if it fails or not. I want it to be a good movie, and I've seen the trailers.
Doesn't look like it's leaning that direction.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't.
The more they see trailers, the more it's hitting that
over CGI
iffy line.
Yeah, I mean, I like Keanu. He's made a really good comeback.
So
I mean, if you haven't seen Scanner Darkly, go check that one out.
So next week is Ryan's pick.
I know what he's doing.
Okay. Now,
You're not. It's not fair. You're not supposed to know him beforehand. All supposed to be surprised.
Well, I will be surprised because he's still kind of on the fence for a couple.
I was really on the fence like all week. I've been torn between sort of a classic and one of my favorite holiday movies ever.
Okay.
And I stress the holiday movie part because not one of my favorite movies, but during the holidays. Oh, this one warms my heart. So I think I have to go with the nostalgia on this one.
Okay.
Gremlins.
The first one.
The very first.
Yeah, the one that takes place at
Christmas.
Come on.
That's awesome. You know what? That's awesome. That's a good pick.
Have you seen this one,
Come on,
Rob?
EBK, it's in the 80s.
Okay.
You're gonna love it.
As long as it's not the second one or the third one or the fifth one.
Well,
There's only two.
Not a chance.
There's only two
Gremlins in space, dude.
No, there's not. That's you're thinking of those
Critters. I'm thinking of Critters.
Batch, and that's the only one that I'm aware of.
Yeah, right. You're right. Critters. I got Critters confused for a second.
It's not
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
I know my bad
Gremlins,
80s
yes.
movies.
Gremlins, there was two. I was getting confused with Critters for some reason.
So, wow. So,
Sorry, Ryan.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang a 4. James gave it a 4. Ryan gave it a 4. And Rob gave it a 4. Which is an extremely rare thing to do on Real Flix Reviews.
That's for sure.
Next week,
Wait till Gremlins.
Next week, Ryan picked the movie Gremlins. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid.
That's been a while.
We kept this one pretty succinct because it was just a good movie and there was nothing really to tear apart on.
There was a bunch of trivia stuff that we could have talked about, but I actually found one bit of trivia that was really